Okay? So everyone's out here complaining that rent is unaffordable. And yeah, in most of the country, they're right. The national median rent just crossed $1,400 a month for a one-bedroom in Miami, Austin, New York. Don't even ask. But here's what nobody's putting on your feed. There are still entire states, not just some random cornfield in the middle of nowhere, but real livable states where you can rent a decent place for under $700 a month. $700. That's less than most people spend on car payments. And yet somehow the internet is completely silent about this. Why? Probably because it doesn't fit the doom and gloom narrative that gets clicks. Well, we're blowing it up today. These are the 10 states where rent is still under $700 a month. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why they're being slept on. Let's get into it. Number 10, Mississippi. And yeah, I already know what you're thinking. Of course, Mississippi is cheap. It's Mississippi. And look, you're not wrong that it consistently ranks as the lowest cost of living state in the country, but cheap and unlivable are two very different things. And I think people conflate them too fast. Median rent for a one bedroom in Mississippi, right around $650 a month. In cities like Hattiesburg and Tupelo, you're finding two bedrooms for that same price. Here's the part the critics always miss. Mississippi has 196 miles of Gulf Coast coastline. The cities of Biloxi and Gulfport sit right on the water. You can be at the beach on a Tuesday morning and your rent check is still under $700. Tell me another state where that's happening. Is Mississippi perfect? No. But if your goal is maximum dollar for dollar value on rent, it's hard to argue with the math. Number 9, Arkansas. Arkansas is the state that everyone flies over and nobody talks about, which is honestly a gift for the people who live there. Average one bedroom rent around $660 a month. And this isn't just Little Rock dragging the average down. Smaller cities like Fort Smith, Jonesboro, and Fayetteville all come in well under that national median. Fayetteville in particular is interesting. It's a college town, home to the University of Arkansas, so you've got live music, restaurants, a real social scene. It made multiple best places to live lists in the last few years. And rent is still holding under $750 even there. The Ozark Mountains are in Arkansas. Crystal clear rivers, hiking, outdoor everything. And yet somehow this state never shows up in the best affordable places to live conversation. That's not an accident, it's just an underrated gem. Number 8, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is quietly becoming one of the best kept secrets in American real estate, and the numbers back it up. Statewide average rent for a one bedroom approximately $680 a month. Oklahoma City, the capital city, has a median one bedroom rent around $750, which still blows most major cities completely out of the water. Here's what's wild about Oklahoma City specifically. They spent years and billions of dollars in local investment rebuilding the downtown. They've got a real NBA team, a growing tech sector, a restaurant scene that people are genuinely surprised by. This is not a city that looks or feels like a $750 rent city. That disconnect is real and it's a genuine opportunity. Tulsa, meanwhile, has been paying remote workers $10,000 cash to move there through their Tulsa Remote program. They literally bribe people to come. That should tell you something about how confident they are in what the city offers. Number 7, West Virginia. West Virginia is a complicated one, and I'm going to be straight with you rather than just sell you a dream. Median one bedroom rent, roughly $620 a month. One of the lowest in the entire country. Here's the honest breakdown. West Virginia has real economic challenges. It's been dealing with population decline for decades, and the job market outside of healthcare and education is thin. If you're moving there for a traditional career, you need to research your specific field carefully. But, and this is a big but, if you work remotely, West Virginia is a different conversation entirely. The scenery is legitimately stunning. The New River Gorge just became a national park. Morgantown and Charleston have real amenities, and the state has been aggressively courting remote workers with programs and incentives specifically designed to bring people in. If your income travels with you on a laptop, $620 rent and mountain views is not a bad trade. Number 6, South Dakota. South Dakota might be the most underrated state in this entire video, and here's why. It combines low rent with something most of the other states on this list can't offer: zero state state income tax. Average one-bedroom rent around $670 a month. In Sioux Falls, the largest city, you're looking at roughly $750, which is still exceptional for a city with a growing economy and a legitimate quality of life. Here's the financial angle that people miss. When you combine low rent with no state income tax, your effective cost of living advantage compounds. A dollar earned in South Dakota is a dollar that goes further than almost anywhere else in the country. That's not nothing. The winters are brutal, I won't sugarcoat that. If you're from Florida, you are not prepared. But for people who don't mind cold weather and want to actually build wealth instead of just surviving month to month, South Dakota deserves a serious look. Number 5, Iowa. Iowa is going to surprise people, and it always does. Statewide median one-bedroom rent approximately $666 a month. Des Moines, a legitimate, functional, modern capital city, has a median rent around $800, but outside Des Moines, you're consistently under $700. Here's what Iowa has that a lot of cheap states don't: stability, low crime in most areas, strong public schools, a diversified economy, and no dramatic housing bubble nonsense. What you see is what you get. Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Ames, these are real college towns and mid-sized cities with functioning economies and actual culture. Iowa City in particular, home to the University of Iowa, punches wildly above its weight for arts, literature, and nightlife relative to its size. Iowa doesn't try to be flashy. It just quietly delivers. Number 4, Kansas. Another Midwest state that gets written off before people actually look at the data. Average one-bedroom rent around $650 a month. Wichita, the largest city in Kansas, sits around $700 to $750, making it genuinely affordable by any national standard. Kansas also has no shortage of job opportunities in aerospace and manufacturing. Wichita has a massive aerospace industry cluster, home to major facilities for companies like Spirit AeroSystems, Textron, and Bombardier. This isn't just cheap rent in an economic wasteland. There are real jobs here. And if you want something a bit more urban, Kansas City straddles the Kansas-Missouri border and gives you access to a major metro with a nationally recognized food and music scene. The Kansas side of KC has rents that are noticeably lower than the Missouri side. Most people don't realize they're essentially the same city. Number 3, North Dakota. North Dakota at number 3 is going to raise eyebrows, but stick with me. Average one-bedroom rent right around $640 a month. And like South Dakota, there's no state income tax. Here's the deal with North Dakota. It has one of the strongest economies in the entire country. The energy sector, oil and gas from the Bakken Formation, drives serious income into the state. Unemployment rates in North Dakota are consistently among the lowest in the nation. This is cheap rent in a place where the jobs actually pay well. Fargo is the largest city and it's genuinely livable. Real restaurants, a university, a growing tech presence. It's cold. Yes, extremely cold. But the financial math here is exceptional. Low rent plus no income tax plus a strong job market equals one of the best wealth building environments in the country if you can handle the winters. Number 2, Alabama. Alabama is having a moment and most people haven't caught on yet, which means the window to take advantage of it is still open. Statewide median one-bedroom rent approximately $650 a month. But here's what makes Alabama special right now. It's in the middle of a genuine economic transformation. Huntsville is now home to one of the fastest growing tech and defense sectors in the South. NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center is there. Redstone Arsenal, one of the largest army installations in the country, is there. The city has been attracting engineers, contractors, and defense tech companies at a rate that most people outside the industry haven't tracked yet. Rents in Huntsville, while rising, are still dramatically below national tech hub averages. Birmingham has a growing healthcare and finance sector. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach give you actual beach access on a budget. Alabama is cheap and it's changing. That combination rarely lasts. The people who move there now will tell that story in 10 years. Hashtag you in Kentucky. And the number 1 state where rent is still under $700 a month and genuinely nobody is talking about it is Kentucky. Average one-bedroom rent across the state around $640 a month. In Louisville, a real city, a major city, median rent for a one-bedroom is hovering around $850, but in Lexington, Bowling Green, Owensboro, and dozens of smaller cities, you're consistently under $700. So why Kentucky at number 1? Because it combines everything. Affordable rent, yes, but also a central geographic location where you can drive to Chicago, Nashville, Cincinnati, Charlotte, and Atlanta all within a day. A diverse economy anchored by healthcare, bourbon and spirits manufacturing, logistics, and a growing tech presence. And a genuine quality of life. The Bluegrass region is legitimately stunning. Louisville is also one of the most underrated food cities in America. The Bourbon Trail drives real tourism, and the cost of living advantage means your money goes dramatically further than in comparable cities. Kentucky doesn't have the hype of Nashville or Austin, but Nashville and Austin are now pricing people out. Kentucky is where people who did the math are landing. So there you have it, 10 states where rent is still under $700 a month and the real reasons why. Here's the honest truth, this list isn't going to stay accurate forever. Remote work has already started pushing prices up in places like Fargo and Fayetteville. The window on some of these markets is narrowing in real time. The people who act on data before the crowd catches up are the ones who win the cost of living game. The people who wait until it's trending on Instagram are the ones paying Austin prices in cities that used to be affordable. If this video helped you think differently about where you're living or where you could be living, drop a comment below. Tell me which state surprised you most, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos like this. See you in the next one.